Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited about this. I'm Maria Regina Firmino Castillo. I'm a professor in critical dance studies in the Department of Dance at the University of California, Riverside. And it is a delight and pleasure to introduce Laura Cecilio, who's a visiting scholar who's been here all of spring quarter 2024. I will let Laura introduce freelance diplomat. I'm so happy that everybody is here and that we have such an interdisciplinary set of guests. This is really exciting for us in the dance department. Laura is a doctoral candidate at the Catholic Pontifical University in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Laura's a student of communications and semiotics and is also very interested in performance and embodied practice. Laura is also a performer and a vocal artist and will offer a performance lecture on the Brazilian drag artist known as Madame Satã, also João Francisco dos Santos. Her research was focused on Malandragem, which as Laura will explain, is a Brazilian form of Afrofabulation based on collective improvisation. Laura will also share with the sound artist freelance diplomats their collective improvisation process, a process that informs Laura's research methodology and the way that Laura sees the possibilities are behind Afrofabulation and also Madame Satã's life and performance practice. Before we get started, I want to thank the dance department at the University of California, especially our chair, Daisha Paget, the production wizard here in the department, Tony Shane, who helped us with all of these wires that you see in front of you, those of you who are here in real life. And also the whole performing arts staff and administration and the Office of International Scholars. And so thank you for being here. For those of you who are not familiar with this building, there are bathrooms outside behind the elevators, and there's water there too. And I'll be around here. Let me know if you need anything. Laura, and freelance diplomat, all yours.
This is so fancy. Okay. Yeah. So, hi everybody. I'm Laura, also known as Cecilius, which is a joke that don't matter right now, but I'm a Brazilian researcher and I'm trying to understand how we can create collectively. This is freelance diplomat. It's really important that I have a diplomat here. And they're gonna perform the research with me today. So this is how it's gonna happen. So we're gonna start this process cognitively and talking through spoken word and music. In 20 minutes or so, I'm gonna enter entirely with them. And you feel comfortable like to perform with us, make music, make sounds, make shouts, make poetry, or do nothing. It's okay too. Like everything is knowledge and everything is valuable. So, okay. Thank you, producer. Okay. Okay. So this is Madame Satã. It's part of my PhD research that I began in Brazil with Professor Greiner in São Paulo. But here I am with a Brazilian scholarship, and I'm gladly being advised by Professor Firmino, and I'm using dancing studies and performance to improve my studies. From this subjective perspective of a Latina and a white Brazilian cis woman, I did my master research questioning how women in Brazil are described in medias. I had the results that permit to learn more about the deep structures of experiences, the racist technologies remaining in Brazil since slavery, that prevent other women to, at minimum, being valued as their strengths. So to understand these appearances, we need to underestimate our self-awareness. The most important thing is to see the potential existing in every type of life. It's not because I have this type of existence that the other one is not valid. To understand that is to deny a separation between who is important and who isn't. Beside my type of living, as can be identified as civilized or feminine or productive or academic or what else, there's a tone of perspectives of life taken for granted and is still living and surviving and creating and producing acknowledgement by other ways beside what media could ever valid. So the overview of my PhD research is the negative of my master, how Brazilian vulnerable lives express themselves. And this is how I started my thesis. The statement is that people who aren't in the spot, vulnerable people, unknown artists, activities, they survive by fabulating. And fabulation are the tools for subjective expressions. They use a narrative to fictionate their reality, bringing up issues of their common lives. And this is my main hypothesis here. Fabulations are triggered by creative process constructed collectively. And I'm gonna use some examples from Brazil to performance to state that. So let me set the scenario. The Third Amendment abolished slavery in the United States in 1865. And 23 years later, in 1888, Brazil abolished the slavery, institutionalized the abolition of slavery. And 12 years later, João Francisco dos Santos was born in a small city in Pernambuco state, and his mom was just released from slavery, and his father belonged to a landowning, oh my God, please, landowning family, a family with a lot of rural states. When his father died, his family was banished from property. He and his 16 siblings. So eventually, João Francisco was sold for a horse, food, housing, until he was captivated and taken for Rio de Janeiro. He was 7 years old when this happened. And when he was 13 years old, he ran away. But he wasn't free at all. This is an excerpt from an interview, but he was illiterated. So we don't know for sure if it's accurate. But it said that he worked hard like a slave, like his grandmother. In Itabaiana, I was kidnapped by Dona Felicidade, who took me to Recife, and then Rio, to her pension, to deliver lunch. And he was just a slave, just like the same. And then he ran away, and it was costly because his other boys that was living in the streets kept fired in this basket, that when he was living in a basket. So this says a lot about this context, right? Because if you think about it, in 5 years, you just lose your father, you lose your family, you're captured, and you're enslaved, and then you live on the streets. So it's a lot, right? But I can also picture that other people helped him to make a possibility, because what other possibility this life could have beside all this violence? So the archive says that he was helped by brothel madams and prostitutes and malandros, And in this kind of violent environment, he also became a malandro. And what is malandro? This is a AI image, okay? But it's like, this is in the subconscious in Brazilian people. Malandro is the person that make things happen. Like, when it comes to malandragem, as known as a smart way to be ahead of everything and everybody and make things happen. When a malandro works, and this is not a legal job, he's contracted to protect brothels and bars and clubs, and he has to be respected and known and make his own neighborhood be aware of him. And he also needs to be ready to defend himself from anybody, including policy and state. So when malandro fights, he uses most of capoeira movements. And what is capoeira? Capoeira is a Brazilian martial art, and that was originally brought by Africans in 1500. But because it was illegal to practice anything from their origins, people enslaved transformed this fight to appear like a dance, using instruments and music. So malandragem is a practice, a strategy of survival of people who are struggling to live barely on the law. And here the thing, because when it comes about Afrofabulation, Tavia Nyong'o, this philosophies that I am studying, he says that Afrofabulation is the persistent reappearance of that which was never meant to appear, but was instead meant to be kept outside or below representations forms. So the whiteness breeds João Francisco not as a human, not even a child who need care. Like Black lives, like João Francisco, was never meant to appear at all. So that known, the life of João Francisco dos Santos is unrepresentable and irreproducible. This is when I see so much similar things in Afrofabulation of Tavia Nyong'o. The complexity of the vulnerability frequently imposed on their existence is dynamically stitched together by old and extensive network of racism and sexism, and there is no place for these people nor possibility to be paid by these damages, to paraphrase Denise Ferreira dos Santos. So actually, the system design is quite the opposite. Somebody needs to be weakened and dehumanized and exterminated so the power gains remain in the hands that those whose is considered valid. And meanwhile, what happens to these lesser value lives? To those who see them, they do not disappear. Tavia Nyong'o says in this part, meant to be kept outside, below representations forms, that the Afrofabulation reappropriates this logical to its own strategy to survival, keeping itself outside, undergrounded, fictionalizing a world that is, from the point of view of a Black social life, already false. And to talk about Afrofabulation is also a risk of communicating and rendering overly explicit that which ought more tactily remain camouflaged. So, like capoeiristas who were dissimulating their fight and transforming in a dance, like malandros who could turn the impossibility of existence into a way of being, installing its own presence in each space, like homosexuality in 1900s that was prohibited. And Tavia Nyong'o also explains that there's something more than moral when it comes to a life that wasn't meant to exist. Law and moral, they are constantly dynamized. So, I think, when I think about João Francisco dos Santos being a malandro, I just can think that he wasn't counted by the law. So he will be outside the law anyway. So the law and the moral it's dynamically changing every time when it comes to this type of uncounted life. And this is João Francisco dos Santos when he was like 76 years old, but he was a malandro when he was like 20s or something. And in fact, he started to be a malandro when he was 9 years old. But when he was like 25, he was like an expert to fight, to street fight with people, to, you know, make some connections. And this is his name, Caranguejo da Praia das Virtudes, which don't matter too much because it's like a neighborhood name. When you see someone swimming a lot, it means like Crab of Virtues Beach. But he was like enjoying the malandro's name. He's really appreciated his fame. And also the archives, the journals, the newspapers endorse and feed the alpha male strain in Caranguejo da Praia das Virtudes. And he was living a nightlife in Lapa, attending to bars and meeting artists and famous people and being homosexual, but still a man, as he said, with that disagreeing with the binarity just by existing in all these contexts. So like 20s, he was a street fighter, a black person who was living on the streets, like surviving and having experience, and also a gay man. And this all led to him to another possibility. In the end of 20s, he started to perform and get into drag. And this is a statement that he was saying that he made a connection with these two houses, two concert houses, Casa de Sapé and Casa de Caboclo, na Praça Tiradentes. And he wanted to live in peace. That is written, like, I was a bohemian who wanted to study profession that would allow me to live in peace with myself and others. We can fabulate that he was like trying to not be a malandro anymore. It was hard, but he was like the only option. But and also I need to make disclaiming that travesti in this time was only meaning that cis men who cross dresses. But right now in Brazil, if you heard something like travesti, it means a political name like queer, but it means a trans person who is like not trying to be a cis woman at all. Like she's really being the other gender. She's not trying to be like appear something cis. It's a little political, but I don't think that he was meaning that in this moment. But maybe even for his time, it was still shocking to bourgeois a gay cis man to cross-dress. And we can see in this excerpt that he's searching things to be something else than malandro, than an alpha male street fighter. And he was feeling realized and sort of financially stable too. He knew a lot of musicians and wrote a lot of lyrics that never went out, but he was planning and fabulating his future when he would be only an artist and not a malandro anymore. But in the reality, he was still contracted and he still needed to be a malandro. So I'm still like questioning myself and imagining, and maybe you can do too with me, how it could be to be in 30s, drag, gay, street fighter in the same time. He was constantly suffering homophobia, and in some point, he was defending himself and somebody died. And there was a lot of histories about that, like somebody that dies, somebody that he kills. Like we never know for sure. We only have to believe it because it's not accurate. But he spent in a jail for a long time. His time was done. And actual, a political persecution started and never stopped until his death. It was a harsh period in Brazil politics. Everyone who was minimally different was sent to jail, and Madame Satã was an easy target, easy name to track down. So he went to prison several times, in and out, days, weeks, months, by not only being black and malandro, but also to public stating as a queer and perform drag person. And this is really good. I really like this statement. They couldn't accept my bravery because I was a non-homosexual. They thought they could lose to me, and so they were always trying to provoke and beat me. He's talking about the police. On the other hand, the newspaper gave much more attention to my feats, precisely because I was homosexual. But what should I do? Become a coward just to satisfy them? Let them do to me what they did to other vicious faggot, who kept getting beaten up and arrested every week just because the police thought vicious should get beaten and clean all the streets and for free. No, I couldn't accept this humiliation situation. I thought being a bicha was something that didn't matter, and that was because I wanted to be, and I didn't stop being a man because of it, and I became bicha on my own free will and was not forced by others. Like, we know for sure that he was really, he has a lot of sexism, but it was in 1900s, right? But he was still aware of this abuse of power in the police. And he was keeping getting arrested in and out. And doing that, not giving himself up, he stayed 25 years of his life in jail. Until he gave up to live in Rio de Janeiro. He gave up of his artistic life, career, and it was unbearable for him. He was choosing himself by staying outside of the stage again. And reminds me back the Afrofabulation that sometimes you have to keep outside below representations forms because it's unbearable. Yeah, but what I wanted to show to you is this. So he lived outside Rio for a long time until military dictatorship began in 64. And in 71, some leftist tabloid rediscovered him and proposed some interviews because he was like an icon to fight a lot of police back the days. So they made a book narrated by him. That is where I took a lot of this information here to present for you. And he was being known again and putting out there his story and his version of his childhood and the state of negligency and his gangster stories also and his prison stories. Everything is out there. And he started to perform again with 71 years old. This is one newspaper from about him, and it was like the cover, so it's really nice. And here we have the word again, which made me really curious. Maybe in my postdoctoral, because travesti it's really a curse name, and this time it wasn't. So yeah. Okay. So this is one of his pieces. He was a Satan here, and he was like 5 years old. And there's another quote that I want to show you. This tabloid interviewed him when he was 76. He was already diagnosed with lung cancer. and they asked, "Oh, our justice system didn't support you, didn't understand you?" And he said, "No, it didn't. I served 27 years and 8 months in prison, and I have 29 cases and 19 acquittal and 10 convictions. The convictions were my first cases." I really like this because when he said the convictions were my first case, he's saying that I didn't know at all. I didn't have education. I didn't have like instruction. So I made a lot of crimes, but it was before I knew that it was like something that you can really do, you know. When I tried to recover, no one, neither justice nor police, gave me moral support. Despite being an old, illiterated black man, I am an intelligent person. I don't have the practice, but I have the theory. I didn't find moral support. I lost several jobs just because employers knew that I was a former prisoner. I didn't deny it. I told the truth. And to this day, I'm living without a job. And it was like 76 years old. So João Francisco, in the middle of this interview, he laments his marginalization and shows how aware he was that if they have had the government support, he would not have experienced the violence and vulnerabilities that led him to social isolation and marginality and prison. And he also claimed the source of his own story by stating that he sought support and information but found himself isolated and 76 years old without a job. So he fabulates a different future, rethinking his own past by raising children with all that he didn't have, because he had like 10 children after that. So yeah, so finalizing, fabulation doesn't have a linearity or given intensity. It is constructed by fictioning, and fictions arise out of the indeterminacy and flux of living and dying, with life being perhaps the greatest fictions of all. This is from Afrofabulations. And this is incompatibility, giving a possibility to what is not current but confabulable, being with and against the archives and the newspapers, where the constitutive impossibility allows an imaginative possibility of what could have been, instead making visible the production of disposable lives. You know, like, yeah, I read it wrong. Let me start again. Being with against the archive, where the constitutive impossibility allows an imaginative possibility of what could ever been, instead making visible the production of disposable lives. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, so uh, like that what studies in whiteness made me think, that instead we like put in the spot the marginalization, we need to put in the spot the strength and the violence, like not being a fetishist about violence, but re-educating, like knowing what happened and what can we do about that, starting from here. So this incompassibility fits me well, because then I can wonder that I know what is in the archives. I know what it was in the archives when I did my master, but what wasn't, it also an archive. And this is incompassibility. And every time that Madame Satã recreated herself, was trying to find her freedom to exist triggered and working with others on her own support web. So, by exercising the collective awareness instead of the self one, we can expand the possibilities to exist. We can add perspectives. So, this is that. Yeah, do you want to say something? Do you want to? No, please, yes. Do you want to say something? Do you want to ask something? No?
I do want.
Oh, okay.
First of all, where are the Band-Aids? I don't know. First of all, thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
And thank you, freelance diplomat, for the droning sound in the back. And thank you to everybody who is here. For those on Zoom, we can open up the mic and video if you have any questions or comments. And for those who are here in these other dimensions, if you have any comments or questions, you're welcome to speak. And then after that, Laura and
I think we're gonna do during that.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Well, might as well, since I'm here. I'm already here. I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the sources for Madame Satã's name, and where that name comes from, and if you think that self-naming, to an extent, self-naming, but also a name that was imposed, if that's a strategy of resistance, a kind of Afrofabulation.
Yeah.
And remember to stand on the Band-Aids.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so Madame Satã is a name that came from this movie called Madame Satã. It was in the movie theaters like 1913. Yeah, 1913. And it was because he was like dressed like a bat, but he was also in a concourse of dressing in a carnival in Brazil, and he won, and he was noticed about that. But he was in jail after that, like the same week he was in the jail because it was against the law to be in public spaces with other faggots like him. So he was in prison, and some policemen just named, "Oh, you are Madame Satã. You just won the concourse." And he said, "No, I'm not Madame Satã. I don't know what you're talking about." And after that, he's just thinking like, "No, this is a good name," and he appropriated it for him. But a lot of people, including me, we know. Oh, I am in the Band-Aids. We know that Madame Satã was racist name because why do you call someone that is dressed like a bat, like Madame Satã, you know? But he appropriates it, and he said in the archive that, "Oh, you need to know my name to know how many legends are made with my name," and it was amazing. Like, this is really a strategy. I think it is a strategy because he couldn't like deny it because he was suffering this racism. So he appropriated, like he did a complex turn and change it. But the archives is more complex than that because the archives is only like 4 or 5 interviews about him when he was 70. So we only speculate, and these interviews was made because of this dictatorship that was happening in Brazil, and he was really disruptive because he was like fighting against the police. But it wasn't because the dictatorship. It was right before that. It was because of racism. It was because of homophobia. So yeah, I think like the journals, the newspapers were also racist because they are not talking about his slavery. They are not talking about like what he suffered when he was neglected. They were always endorsing his fights and his strength and stuff, and this is nice, but it's not enough. And yeah, that is it. So what I do to this is fabulate over this fabulation, understanding that this is a part of his universe, like is a part of the João Francisco dos Santos universe that he led us to enter. And yeah, I have to believe that. Okay. Okay.
How did Madame challenge
In society of what? Oh, just by existing, right? Because he was enslaved and he was a black person. Uh, the thing the more it's absurd here is because he was enslaved after the abolition. It isn't absurd. So it's like you can normalize any type of violence, and even if you have the law, you don't have it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I really love it. It's amazing. Like he's saying that he's illiterate, but doesn't matter. Okay.
I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the collective improvisation part of Afrofabulations, like where the collectivity comes in.
Yeah. I love that because so when he was living in the streets, he ran away because he saw that he can do it, because he saw other boys living in the streets, and he said, no, I can do it. He was triggered about that. And then he was like welcomed by brother madams and other malandros and prostitutes, and everybody was like taking care of him as much as they can. So the collectiveness, like the sense of community here, helped him to find a path to survive. And he found in Malandragem, and it is also in my perspective, is also a type of fabulation, because um, he couldn't count the law, so it doesn't matter the law, fuck the law, you know. He needs to survive, and this is the type of education he had. So he became a malandro with other malandros helping understanding what do you how can you like make things happen even if you don't have justice system and education and family stuff. And after that he was like, okay, but it's not healthy, it's not like sustainable for a long time, and I'm knowing here a queer community. I think I fit better with them. I feel realized. I want to be an artist. And he was triggered again by community, and he was creating a number with other artists. I didn't show here because also I don't have images about his artist performance before he was in the jail in the first time. So it's also a speculation of the archive, but I count on them. I count that he was like trying to make something better, to make himself feel better, and creating, using art to survive. And yeah, and when he was like, he discovered when he was 71 years old, he was in a play, and he also um, recreating his archive, telling his own story, having his own book. There is a Brazilian director that had a movie about him, but it's not accurate too, and yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Which I'm putting in the chat as well. And how does your own artistic practice as a collaborative improvisational performer inform your research on Madame Satã?
Could you repeat? I'll mute myself. So, yeah, it's also started with my master, and then like I redirected my PhD to not only women but every vulnerable life in Brazil. And I was like feeling a lot of things, and I am a musician, so I was thinking, how can we fabulate? I was trying to make an exercise, and this is what I'm gonna present with you guys. I wanna try an exercise to how to start to fabulate. This is not a fabulation. This is an exercise to you to remind you how is it being in a place and underestimate your own self-awareness, to be aware that everybody's in here and they are people talking with you. So you have like to listen and then think and then respond. This is like, and I'm using music to do this conversation. So it's not, yeah, it's not directly related to Madame Satã, but it's directly related with my research, which is to understand how we made fabulations, how fabulations can help you, and how you express yourself when you don't have a voice. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have one last question.
Okay.
And of course, anyone else can ask a question, but this will be my last question. And that is, how was your time here in Pachapa, Kauai land, also known as Riverside? How has it affected your research?
Okay, so now I'm gonna use the Brazil card. Yeah, is when I talk a lot about Brazil and making a critic indirectly, but is being here. I was before I arrived here, I was worried because I would be a Latina in an imperialist country, and I don't like imperialism. But then I opened myself, and I knew a lot of people, and I went to a lot of events, and this helped me a lot to think about the process of creativity, the collectively process of creativity, because yeah, we have the imperialism and we have the racism, and in Brazil I am just a white girl, so we have that, and these people are not gonna die. So what can you do? Maybe we can start a conversation. Maybe we can try to stay with the trouble and deal with the trouble, sustain a long for a long time, for like sustainably. And this is kind of my time here. I'm really sad that you're gonna be like in vacations, and I'm not gonna see you anymore, and I'm not gonna see you anymore, and not gonna see you anymore. But until there, I am like really enjoying my time and trying to understand how people talk to each other. So sometimes I just stare the group of people that I am in events or something, and trying to understand how this person talk with other person, how this is functional, you know, like workable, how this is works. And yeah. Okay. 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 Oh, no. So, yeah, I'm counting on you. Yeah. Yeah. What do you want? Time is it? Okay. Fitter, heavier, more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at gym 3 days a week, getting on better with your associate employees' contemporaries, at ease, eating well, no microwave diners and saturated fats, a patient, better driver, a safer car, baby smiling in the back seat, sleeping well, no bad dreams, no paranoia, careful to all animals, never watching spiders down the plug hole, keeping in contact with old friends, enjoy a drink now and then, will frankly check the credit at Mortal Bank, hole in the wall, favors for favors, found but not in love, charity stealing others, on Sundays ringing around the supermarket, no killing mobs or putting boiling water in the ends, car wash also on Sundays, no longer afraid of the dark or midway shadows, nothing so ridiculously teenage and desperate, nothing so child, at a better pace, slower and more calculated, no chance of escape, no self-employed, concerned and by powerless, an empowered and informed member of society, pragmatism, no idealism, will not cry in public, last chance of illness, tires that grip and wet, shot of baby strapped in the back seat, a good memory, still cries in a good film, still kisses with saliva, no longer empty or frantic, like a cat, tied in a stick that's driven into, frozen into shit, the ability to laugh at weakness, calm, fitter, happier, no productive, a pig in a cage on antibiotics. Yay! Okay. This is how it works. Do you have some Russian poetry? Come here. Yay! So I just invited them because they told me that they could do it, but you feel uncomfortable to do something, okay? Or nothing. Okay.
Прежде, давно, в лето моей юности, в лето безвозвратно мелькнувшего детства моего, мне было весело приближаться первый раз к незнакомым местам. Все равно была ли то деревушка, бедный городишко, село или слободка. Любопытного много замечал в нем детский любопытный взгляд. Высунувши нос из проходных телег, я глядел на неведомые доселе покрой сюртука, на деревянные ящики с гвоздями и серые, желтевшие вдали, с изюмом, привлекавшие вдали высохших банками московских конфет, глядел и нашедшего в стране пехотного офицера, заезжавшего не знаю сколько губерний, на уездную скуку, на купца, напившего студенческих прибеговых дорожках, и уносился мысленно за ними в бедную жизнь. О, моя юность, моя свежесть. Теперь безразлично проезжаю каждую незнакомую деревню и равнодушно гляжу на ее пошлую наружность, моему охладевшему взору подвижно. Смешно. И то, что пробудило бы в прежние годы живое движение в лице, смех и немолчные речи, то скользит теперь мимо. частное молчание, храня о моя юность, о моя свежесть. Свежесть.
Thank you, Sasha. Do you want to come over to bark? It'll be really good.
Do you want to introduce? Hi, Anya. Hi. Want to say something? I think this is dance probably, or sing, or fight. You want to, if you're filming. I'm down. All right. Sometimes. That's what you're doing. Any other brave souls?
It's open.
I can do whatever, right?
Use this. Terrifying. Yay! I think we have a time for a last one. Yeah. Yeah, we have 3 mics.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Jeff, get the tambourine. Get up. Tambourine and consider. Come on. Yeah.
Oh, we have a jazz singer here. Woo! Do you want this?
Is that the weird one?
Yeah. Empty.
You can dance.
You say critical things about dance.
I mean, we can make noise together.
Keys, I could use this noise sound.
Do you want to use the weird microphone? The weird microphone? Here. And you can switch.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Oh, you can distort my voice. Make it better. What are we gonna do? Improvisation? Yeah. Okay, go over there and
Yeah, of
bring
course.
it here or something.
Yeah. And
Well, this Laura during Laura's first week. During Laura's first week, we talked about making noise
yes.
because I needed to scream.
Yeah, we need.
So perhaps.
Okay.
Okay. So
What do you want?
let's scream.
Switch as you want.
Robot? No, I don't want to be a robot. Hello? Laura, do canto do Sana. And then I'll just,
Okay.
I don't know what I'll do. And this is one of my favorite songs that Laura interprets beautifully.
O homem que diz não dá, porque quem dá mesmo não diz. O homem que diz não vai, porque quem já foi já não quis. O homem que diz não é, porque quem é mesmo é não sou. O homem que diz vai, não vai, porque quando vai, quando quer. Coitado do homem que cai no canto de ossanha traidor. Coitado do homem que vai atrás de mandinga de amor. Vai, não vou, vai, não vou, vai, não vou, vai, não vou, eu não sou ninguém de em conversa de esquecer.
Eu sei todas as letras desta canção.
It's okay, just make some noise.
Continua, Laura.
Talk with him. Let's talk with him.
Will.
Good.
There's a robot. It's really fun. Just
What do I say?
doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm supposed to play with this. Okay.
Whatever you want.
Wait, like,
Wow.
check in. Plug in. Wait, it's not distorted.
Yeah, it is. It's
Oh.
just, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you switch.
Hello?
I'm gonna make noise. Just like
You come over here.
Mickey Mouse impression. Just like they're glowing, you're glowing, you know.
Thank you.
Great, they're glowing, you're glowing.
How is the breath?
Thank you. This is kind of this is the thing that I want to happen. Thank you.
Beautiful colors.
Now you can. We have a lot of microphones. Please. This is kind of what we're doing right now.
To make noise, right?
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the point. Okay. So let's use this. Could you hear? Yeah, I'm gonna do something. Okay? So make some noise continuously and I talk to you. You talk to me and I talk to you. Yeah, yeah, with music. Okay? Continuously. Do something continuously, yeah. If you want to stop looping this, you can unloop. Otherwise, you can just change it.
And it just changes the sound.
Yeah, you can change it. Like, there's different effects. You just move that. God, I'm so dizzy. Wow.
Did I do that? Did I stop everything?
Yeah, you did.
It was me.
I don't know. It's 8. It's 8 o'clock.
Crimea River.
Crimea River.
Crimea River.
Okay.
As an ending, you gotta hear this. Yes? Yeah. Can you do it?
Okay, I can do it. Okay, just to finish, I'm gonna send my last ask from my producer. Producer professor. Oh, but I don't know the lyrics. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Lyrics, I don't know that one. Do you have any water?
Oh, I have it.
I'm like dying. I kind of know it on guitar too. Do you want to pull up the chords? Are you know the chords?
What are the chords?
There's a lot of different chords.
Oh, okay.
It's jazz. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be uma coisa rápida, fast. So,
Where's the tambourine?
what's tambourine? Oh. Is it creep? Okay, just to finish. So, oh, but you're playing creep. I can. Na, 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 na.
Radio.
But I'm a queen.
Oh, yes.
I am indeed a queen. Sing it. Yes. Yes. Woo! Thank you, Jose. Okay. Like, I do one stroke and you do. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
You start.
Okay. Oh. Oh, this is not Crimea River. It's Justin Timberlake Crimea River.
It's who does this one?
There's a lot of
Julie
people.
London.
Yeah, Julie. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. Now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head. Why you never shed a tear. I remember all that you said. Told me love was too clear for you. Told me you were through with me, and now you say you love me. Well, just to prove you do, well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Professor Firmino, for everything that's happened only because of you. Thank you guys for coming and filming and taking photos. And thank you from the Zoom, my longest friends and fans. And oh yeah, I'm really glad that this happened. I do this project in Brazil, and I'm really excited. I was really excited, and everything went well. So thank you. Yeah. Yay. Oh, thank you, freelance diplomat, for everything that you served. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, and bacon. Bye.
To everyone on Zoom who stayed all this time, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and see you the next time. Ciao.